Hey everyone, what is going on? Today we're upgrading the rear brakes on the Stratus, so I'm going to do a little how-to of changing the rear brakes. I'm using this power stop kit from Rock Auto that they sell. It comes with the Evolution pads and slot and drilled rotors. Now, from autocrossing, I know that the rears don't actually need upgraded. They actually can lock up just fine. But they're not, pretty rotors. They're just kind of, well, we'll get the light on there when we get the wheel off. But, they're just generic parts store rotors. So I'm going to upgrade them. Basically, they had a little sale going on with these kits. I've used them before. I used them on the caliber. You get your grease, your carbon fiber ceramic pads, new little boots for your calipers. And usually instructions, I think I threw them out already. But the rotors are marked for left and right. I'm not sure it completely matters because the rear rotors are not vented. So I'm still going to put them on the way they say. But I'm going to get a light set up, get the car blocked, jacked up and the wheel off. And we'll go through what you need and how to change your rear brakes. There is a little stipulation to this. Some cars use a parking brake in the caliper, so the piston you won't be able to just push back in. You'll actually have to take something and rotate the piston back in. On the Stratus, it uses a drum style parking brake inside the rotor, so changing the rear pads and that should be super easy. So let me get set up and go from there. Alright, so got the wheel off here. And as you can see, this is just your plain Jane rotor and pad setup from a parts store. Whether you're upgrading pads or replacing the same stuff, it's not going to make much of a difference how you install it. Mine do not have the dust shield because they were rotted off. And they're not that old. As you can see, they're not seized to the hub, so that should make taking them off very easy. So, first thing we got to do is it's on a stand. You can always check, grease stuff while you're in here. Check, for any play and anything, but I mean, most of this stuff is fairly new, so you might want to check bolts, stuff like that, and go from there. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you if you don't have a So what I'm going to do now is if you don't have a clamp to push the piston back in, if it's that style caliper, I'm going to show you a little trick. Basically, you're going to want to get in with a tool on the rotor, normally a screwdriver like this, and you're going to pull it. And as you can see, the whole rotor is moving. Normally you'd want to use like a flathead, but I can't find one right now. And after you pull so much, the rotor, as you can see, the piston is all the way in there. So now, all I should have to do is break these two bolts off here, which I believe are 10, and then pull everything off. Your parking brake is going to have to be lowered because on these, the parking brake is in here like a drum style. But as you can see, it's loose, so should be all right. So let me grab a wrench and we'll bust that off. I got my 10mm ratchet wrench here. Wait, that's tightened. My bad. Top one, bottom. Now, like I said, these pads have not been on there very long. Or many miles anyway. So I'll just double check the boots, put a little bit of grease if it needs any on the bolts. Actually, they're still kind of coated. They don't roll away on me. And the brake lines, when all these were done, were also replaced on the rear. The fronts, not so much. They're still the original front lines. probably replace them this winter. And now we can just slip this guy off. As you can see, it's pretty far seated all the way back in there. So we will set him off to the side. We will grab our old rotor. Now it came off nicely because it wasn't that old. So what you guys may want to do is put some anti-seize on here to help it prevent from sticking to that. So then we will grab the rear driver side. Now I already went ahead and brake cleaned all the residue off. As you can see, they're just whatever coating's on there. And then we'll get the new one on there. Bam. Now look how nice and shiny that is. That is the parking brake you hear on the drum there. Now I just got to swap these pads out. So on the Stratus brakes, which I'm pretty sure the same as like Neons and stuff too, the rears anyway, there's this little tab you're going to have to bend kind of out of the way. I can grab it. Bend that out of the way. Whoop, not jack my line up. And then should be able to pop them off. It's very hard to do one-handed. There we go. And as you can see, those pads have a lot of meat on them, but they were just regular auto parts ones, and then this one just pops out. And now we have a bare rear caliper. Not too bad. A little worn on the seal, but it's not leaking, so it should be alright. Boots still slide nicely. So now we'll go ahead and I'm not going to need the boots. We'll probably use the grease that they supply, you know, to put on the back so they don't make noise. Open this up. We got the front, and we'll get the piston side here in a second. And there is the piston side. Nice big wear indicator. And like I said, these were like still brand new. But I wanted to upgrade them just so all the brakes are similar. The fronts are still EBC, the rears are power stop. I didn't see the need in spending money on the EBC setup for, I mean, I'm not going to get any benefit out of the rear. I just want them to look pretty. So I went with the power stop. So, alright, so have both new pads from the kit in. Put a little bit of grease, you know, back here where it contacts the pad. And then I greased up like this little slider area here. So now all we got to do is reassemble everything and do the other side. So let me get both hands in here and get this bolted on. So calipers sit on there. Make sure your brake line doesn't get twisted or anything from having it apart. Always finger start your bolts, and make sure no brake grease or anything like that gets on the pad surface or the rotors. Let me find my wrench. So I'm going to tighten these side up. As you can see, slotted rotors that are like zinc coated or whatever, they'll look better than the auto parts store stuff that'll get rusty. It matches the EBC stuff kind of up front. And I just got to do the other side, which should not take very long. I'm not going to film the other side because it's the exact same thing. So it's just on the Stratus is a 10mm to pull that caliper off, and hopefully your rotor is not seized on there. I actually didn't have any anti-seize with me because I was going to put some on the hub, but this car only goes out for races and stuff, so it never really sees salt or anything, so it should be alright. So let me put the wheel back on it and I'll get it on the ground, and have two old junk ones, and have a nice pretty looking rear hub now that we have brakes that aren't all gross looking. So let me get the wheel on, be right back. And there is one side done. My dirty wheels covered in brake dust. But so we got a nice shiny coated rotor that hopefully won't turn to rust like that one. And some new pads. So I'm gonna do the other side and I'll be right back. Now the passenger side is done. So before I move the car, I just have to pump the brakes and make sure there's no leaks or anything, and make sure that the pads are up against the rotor, so that way when you first hit the brakes, you don't have no brakes and can't stop. So you can see, hitting the brakes now. Should make everything nice and tight. And just go ahead and drive and do the little bed-in process that they recommend. It's on the box somewhere. Oh, it's right here. So yeah, so slow down 40 to 10, 5 excessive. Wow. So I'm not going to film that part, but I'll have to go out and drive and bed the pads and rotors in. I think it needs, was it 5 stops from 40 to 10, and then 5 moderate stops from 35 to 5, and then 5 minutes to cool down. So pretty basic bed-in process. Won't be too big of a deal, but that is a very simple, easy way to upgrade your brakes. It only took a 4-way to get the lugs off, and a 10 mil and something to push the piston back in. Again, if your car uses the style where it's got the parking brake attached to the rear caliper, you're probably gonna have to have something to twist that back in. None of the cars I have use that system, so unfortunately can't show you it. But yeah, real simple, quick upgrade. I hope you guys like this little install video. They were fairly cheap. I can't find my invoice where I tell you what they cost. I might leave the link below, but Rock Auto every once in a while runs these deals for Power Stop where you can grab like an axle set, a full car set of either OEM style or upgraded, and you know, they'll do rebates or just discounts in general. So hope you guys like this little video. Like and subscribe. Until next time.